Hi, I'm Erika. I'm a lawyer, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about a recent Forbes article with over 8 million views that contains completely inaccurate information about the Automatic Boost to Communities Act. The Automatic Boost to Communities Act is a bill that, if passed, would give additional stimulus checks to the American people, and I did a summary of the bill in this video here. I'll show you exactly why the Forbes article was wrong using the actual text of the bill. If you've watched me before, you know that this is not my typical style video. I usually just stick to personal finance and stimulus checks and stimulus proposals right now. But I wanted to make this video to show you that you just have to be really cautious about the information you're consuming and whether or not it's accurate. When a news source like Forbes is putting out inaccurate information about stimulus proposals, I feel like the best thing that I can do is, one, email the writer at Forbes and let them know, which I already did, and then two, just let my audience know, because I know you've been trusting me to keep you updated on everything related to stimulus checks and stimulus packages. This is also to clear up some confusion, because when I posted my video summarizing the ABC Act, understandably there were people in the comments section who were confused because what I was saying in the video about the ABC Act was very different from what presumably they had read on this Forbes piece that I'm going to be discussing now. So let's just dive right in. To read the full text of the bill, you can go to the official press release, scroll down to the bottom and click here, or even better, you can go to congress.gov to find the bill. The press release and full text of the ABC Act was released on April 16th, and this Forbes piece was released on April 22nd, so clearly there was enough time for Forbes to access the full text of the bill and read it before publishing the article. Looking at this Forbes article, it says that if approved, the ABC Act would provide every American with a Boost debit card that is preloaded with $2,000. It also says, as written, the bill would provide a $2,000 prepaid debit card to everyone. And finally, under how would money be distributed, it says the funds would be distributed via prepaid U.S. debit cards. Now I'll show you where the actual text of the bill says something completely different. If you read the bill, you'll see here under methods of payment that the method of payment is actually going to be direct deposit, not Boost card, if the Secretary of the Treasury has your bank account information, which if you receive your $1,200 through direct deposit, then the Secretary does. The only way it would be through a Boost card, as you can see here in the bill, is number one, if they have your direct deposit information, but you indicate that you want to receive the Boost card instead, or number two, if they don't have your direct deposit information. So as you can see, those statements in the Forbes article about how everyone would get it through the Boost debit card, they're completely off. And there's actually more. Next, if we go back to looking at the Forbes article, you can see that it says the card would be reloaded with $1,000 each month until 1 year after the end of the illness. It also says these prepaid debit cards would be reloaded with $1,000 each month until 1 year after the illness ends. Here again, it's just incorrect information. You'll see in the bill here that it's $1,000 per month for a year after the payment period. And if you go to the definition of payment period, it's not actually after the end of the illness like the Forbes article says. It's completely different. The payment period ends after the later of these two things, either 1 year after the termination of the emergency or 1 year after unemployment rates meet both these criteria. So 1 year after the later of those two things happens, that's when the payment period ends. And from that point, for a year period, you'd get the $1,000 a month. So as you can see, very different from what the bill is saying versus what the Forbes article is saying. Another big mistake in the Forbes article is it makes it seem like it's a $2,000 now one-time payment, plus then these $1,000 recurring payments. In the Forbes article, you see right here in the title, $2,000 payment plus $1,000 per month until 1 year after the illness ends. You also see here who would be eligible for the $2,000 stimulus payment and $1,000 recurring payment. And of course, this is also just completely incorrect. The bill says nothing about the $2,000 just being a one-time payment. To the contrary, actually, if you go to the actual text of the bill, you'll see here that it's $2,000 per month during the payment period. And if you go to the actual definition of payment period in the bill, you can see that the payment period begins on the first day of the first month, beginning after the date of enactment of this act, and then it ends the later of either 1 year after the termination of the emergency or 1 year after the unemployment rates meet those two criteria like I talked about. So as you can see, the bill says nothing about it being a one-time $2,000 payment followed by these $1,000 payments. Those $2,000 payments carry on throughout the payment period, which even at the very shortest would be 14 months. So that would be $2,000 a month for at least 14 months, and that's very different from what the Forbes article says is a one-time $2,000 payment. I'm not trying to call people out, that's not my intention, but even with supposedly credible sources like Forbes, you have to be very careful. In defense of Forbes, I think they must have relied on an inaccurate 2-page summary of the bill that was being circulated. But that being said, I personally don't know why you would write an article about a bill without actually reading the text of the bill, especially when you can readily access that on congress.gov. And the real danger of this is that there's also a trickle-down effect, because you'll see that many people on YouTube created videos about the ABC Act that contained the exact same inaccurate information, which leads me to think that they probably relied on that Forbes article to create those videos. Just a quick YouTube search of $2,000 now will show you just how many people got it wrong and probably relied on that Forbes article. You can see that the first video with completely inaccurate information has over 1 million views, and this video with 135,000 views even cites the Forbes article. So it's crazy. That's how one Forbes article with over 8 million views can spread to YouTube then and get over 1 million views on YouTube with that same incorrect information. Especially because so many of you were confused and messaging me about why my summary of the ABC Act that I gave to you in this video was so different from what you were hearing elsewhere, including through that Forbes article. And I don't blame you. It's understandably confusing when a lawyer on YouTube is telling you one thing and a Forbes article is telling you a completely different thing, and I completely understand why you'd be inclined to trust Forbes over me. Number 2, I feel like I also owe it to the 8 million people who read that Forbes article and got incorrect information from it. Like I mentioned, I did already send an email to the Forbes writers, so I hope they take that seriously and either take the article down or revise it, and I'll keep you updated on that. My promise to you is that I'll continue to conduct thorough research before putting out a single video, and if it's a video about a stimulus proposal or bill, you can be sure that I've read every single word in that bill for you. I'm probably never going to be in Forbes now after this video, but if you enjoyed it, a thumbs up would be really helpful, and if you could share it with a friend, that would be amazing too. And if you want 2 free stocks from Webull, the second one valued at up to $1,400, just sign up using the link below and deposit $100. And I will see you next in this video. Thank you for watching.